Welcome back, and today we're going to be doing a really interesting scene of a lighthouse in a storm. So today I'm using blue, royal blue, sort of an aqua blue, black, yellow, and white. Okay, so I'm going to start with my flat half-inch brush. Get some water, and I have my half sheet of watercolor paper here, which we're using acrylic, which is fine. We can paint, we can use acrylic on watercolor. We've done that before. Watercolor paper, we've done that before. I have this propped up a little on this lovely little air pillow. We just wing it here. That's my motto, winging it. Okay, so I'm going to start with this royal blue, and I'm going to mix some black into it because we want a stormy sky. So we're going to start by washing this across, just back and forth, grab some more, add a little water if we want it to be a little smoother across the paper, and there we go. We're creating a really nice, deep, dark sky. There we go. A little water, a little more blue, a little more black. Okay, here we go. Nice. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to do one coat because it's fairly dark, a fairly dark color. But if you want to let it sort of set and then go back and do another, you can do that, certainly. Okay, so now we're going to take some of the straight royal blue. I'm going to wash it across, and this is going to be our sea. Okay, and we still have maybe a little bit of the black left on the brush. That's fine, because we really want it to be a dark and stormy day. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now what we want to do is kind of put a little bit of a peninsula in here. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of yellow and a little bit of the blue, and we're going to mix it together, and voila, we have some green, nice shaded green. Now, a lot of times if you just, like I say, this paint you can get at any craft store in little tubes for anywhere from 99 cents to $4. It works really well for what we're doing here. If you want to try and just start with your basic primary colors of yellow, red, and blue, and then get some white and some black, you can mix up a whole variety of tones without investing in all the different colors that you can possibly get, because there's quite a few and they're all beautiful. But if you just want to start experimenting with those primary colors, white and black, you can do that too. Okay, so now, as I did, I just mixed some blue and some yellow, and I got a nice green. So I'm gonna go out here, and we're just gonna kind of make a little peninsula here, and this is where the lighthouse is gonna sit. We just want a little bit of that green in the background. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna wash off our brush. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put in, while this is still a little bit wet, I'm gonna start adding some little waves. So I'm going to start with some white, and you notice we still have a little bit of green on the brush, and that's fine. So we're going to just start tapping in some, so we don't want so much of the way, some little waves here. We're just tapping them in. And we're just going to go and sort of tap in some waves. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to take our trusty paper towel and clean off a little bit, and we're going to start, just go back and forth. We sort of just dried our brush off. We didn't even wash it, and we're just going to kind of go across and smooth some of these out, creating some additional waves. See, I'm just kind of very lightly touching, not even, like barely touching the paper. We're just kind of dragging some of that paint. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, So now what we want to do is we're going to go in, and we don't even have to clean off our brush. Some of these areas, like for instance this one here, we're going to start just pulling some of the paint down, sort of so it looks like a little bit of a wave. There, see? My brush is kind of dry. We're just going to pull it down. You can kind of experiment anywhere you want to have sort of that little effect. Back here. Okay. Sort of pulling it sort of in almost like a little whoosh, whoosh shape like that. Okay. Kind of dragging down and pushing to the right, sort of like that. Okay, there we go. And you can play around with that as much as you want, and if you don't like it, just go over with some more dark blue and start again. Let it set and then go back and do it again. So now I'm just going to go right into some more white, okay? Get a little bit on there, and I'm going to sort of make some little peaks here. So go up and down, up and down, up and down, just little kind of cap off those little areas a little bit. Sort of making the peak of the wave a little bit of a slope, and you can go in, and again you can play around with this. What I like to do then is to sort of drag some of the edge off a little bit like that. Okay. And while you have still a little bit of the white, you can add some more little straight areas. Oop. And that makes just sort of let the paper take the paint off. It makes some little areas of interest. You really never know. Sometimes little things happen and you're like, oh, that looks good. I'm gonna put some around the shore here. Okay, all right. And you can play around with that more as you go along. But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna move on. Okay, so now what I wanna do is, again, I'm not even cleaning off my brush. I'm gonna create the lighthouse, and I'm gonna go into the white, and I'm just gonna start. You wanna sort of decide how tall your lighthouse is gonna be, and I'm just gonna go down, and I'm gonna pull it down with my flat brush. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger at the bottom. Very tall and statuesque. There we go. Okay, you don't have to worry too much about the bottom because we're going to add some other detail down there. Okay, so now what we want to do is I'm going to add, I'm going to take a little bit of black and mix it into the white, and I'm going to make a little bit of a gray, and I'm just going to cap off. This is going to be where the light is going to sit in the lighthouse. Okay, there we go. Okay, now while we have that gray, we're gonna make some rocks, and we've done this in other videos. We're just gonna add some black and some white. You could do brown and white. So we mixed it up. We're not even really blending it too much, and this is fun. I'm just gonna add some rocks. I just go boom, 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 boom. You can place them anywhere you want. You can make them round or give them some nice shape. Kind of tap some in there. Okay, now we're going to go back with some white, and we're going to give them a little bit more shape. Oops, get some more white. And then you can go back with some black and kind of blend it in. And you're just kind of building up little areas of interest here. Like I said, I'm just kind of winging it here, but you can see them. Maybe mix up some more gray, starting to really take shape. There. Okay, so we're just gonna leave that there for now. It's sort of like a little cliff. We're gonna add some more detail later, but that's the base of our rocks. Okay, now I'm gonna rinse off the brush. And I'm just gonna kind of go in here and like even this off a little bit on the edge. Actually, I'm just gonna come down. Again, we have that stray bristle. There we go. And you see I dragged some of the gray in there, which creates a nice little shadow. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna work on a little bit in the sky. You're gonna love what's gonna happen later in the sky, but we're gonna hang on for a second, just create the little house that goes on the side of the lighthouse. So again, we're gonna take some gray, and we're gonna just start, actually I'm gonna do it a little darker. So we're gonna take some of this, we're gonna pull down the side of the house, and then we're gonna do a little triangular part here and pull that down. We've made a little cottage in the past, and it's really pretty easy. Now I'm going to take some straight black, go across here, pull it down to make a little roof, just using the brush is your friend. So you're going to just use the shape of the brush to create there, a little cottage, okay? So now what we want to do is we're going to work a little bit more on the lighthouse. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to switch brushes, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to get my, I like this, it's a thin brush, it's a little bit longer, but we're going to go in and we're going to get some yellow. We're actually going to put the light here on the lighthouse. Just kind of a little beacon. There we go. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some more detail to the lighthouse. We need to do a little cap, so we're going to go into the black, and we're going to create a dome on the top. A little tip there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to let some of this dry, and then I'll be back in a minute to show you some more detail. Okay, so I'm going to, I think for the sake of time, since this is going to probably end up being a two-parter, because it's a little more involved, we're going to start making these rocks a little more detailed. So we're gonna take some black, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna start giving them a little more shape. There we go. And you can see the paint is still wet underneath, so it's bringing a little bit of that color back into the foreground, so that's great. And we're gonna take a little white now, mix it with the black, and add that kind of side to it. Okay, there we go. Okay, and you can kind of just add some little areas of smaller rocks underneath like that. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and we'll do part 2 in just a minute. Stay tuned.